TSM was bottom.
A lot of respect from both Wild Turtle and Last Boy, but you can see Wild Turtle takes a chunk there from PYL. He's going to try and farm up. Death Sentence does connect, and Last Boy goes in. That's an early flash away from PYL. Sia's going to connect. There's that 2-second stun. Imp is going to throw out
Really early teleports.
That's double teleport.
Yeah, they're going to go in now, and up PYL's getting a move back. Dyrus moving in. First blood to TSM. What gets enough? Godby exhausted, going to be chased down. LGD though, they've already lost one. Last one. He's going to go in. 2 kills for TSM, but Imp gets the trade kill.
How much can he get back?
Wild Turtle now, maybe the next one. Not
Not over yet. We do see him trying to chase. Wild Turtle going to get some heal from that Harvester of Sorrows. 2-1 in the first fight. That's Jin's head. And the rest of RNG saying, yes, Mr. Uzi, we will do our best. Let's see if MLXG can deliver. As it stands, G2 are 3-1 up in kills. They've got a 500 gold lead. And Hyanan has been the recipient of both of those Lantern kills. If you look at the item differences as well, Perks has got himself the Luden's Echo, and here comes MLXG. He's still got that Rift Herald, but Ming's Death Sentence goes wide. The box goes down, Uzi jumps in. Here comes MLXG. Defensive flashes. Yankos has already killed Ming. Now Yankos is turning it back around. Defensive flash from Uzi. Teleport's coming down.
Comes
Perks. Not just to find out. Perks blows up RNG, and G2 win the fight.
It ends up being a 3-0 in favor of G2. It's the shield from Jenna to try and win the trades.
Flash available for Goong, remember, he got caught out again. Is it going to be enough damage? Yes, it is, absolutely. Goong can do one more shot, he will go down. Watch managed to pick him off to make it an even trade. The kill, of course, went to Watch in there, but the save had to come down. He did miss out on a lot of CS in that top lane.
Goong had some great dodges right there. He was able to juke enough. He was gonna live, but Watch kicks over going to secure his death and the trade.
Oh, it's not over yet. Yeah, Watch is still in there. We see that Loveling is sitting around the side. He's going to face check in.
Flanking in.
Watch gets the vision. Teleport comes around. The slow off Watch. In comes going around the side.
Standard lanes, Imp and PYL, they've done it before. It's not very often, but they're just going to play straight up 2v2 and try and honestly just outclass TSM with bottom.
A lot of respect from both Wild Turtle and Last Boy, but you can see Wild Turtle takes a chunk there from PYL. He's going to try and farm up. Death Sentence does connect, and Last Boy goes in. That's an early flash away from PYL. Sia's going to connect. There's that 2-second stun. Imp is going to throw out
Really early teleports.
That's double teleport.
Yeah, they're going to go in now, and up PYL's getting a move back. Dyrus moving in. First blood to TSM. What gets enough? Godby exhausted, going to be chased down. LGD though, they've already lost one. Last one. He's going to go in. 2 kills for TSM, but Imp gets the trade kill.
How much can he get back?
Wild Turtle now, maybe the next one.
Not over yet. We do see him trying to chase. Wild Turtle going to get some heal from that Harvester of Sorrows. 2-1 in the first fight. That's Jin's head. And the rest of RNG saying, yes, Mr. Uzi, we will do our best. Let's see if MLXG can deliver. As it stands, G2 are 3-1 up in kills. They've got a 500 gold lead. And Hyanan has been the recipient of both of those Lantern kills. If you look at the item differences as well, Perks has got himself the Luden's Echo, and here comes MLXG. He's still got that Rift Herald, but Ming's Death Sentence goes wide. The box goes down, Uzi jumps in. Here comes MLXG. Defensive flashes. Yankos has already killed Ming. Now Yankos is turning it back around. Defensive flash from Uzi. Teleport's coming down. Not just to find out. Perks blows up RNG, and G2 win the fight.
It ends up being a 3-0 in favor of G2. It's the shield from Jenna to try and win the trades.
Flash available for Goong, remember, he got caught out again. Is it going to be enough damage? Yes, it is, absolutely. Goong can do one more shot, he will go down. Watch managed to pick him off to make it an even trade. The kill, of course, went to Watch in there, but the save had to come down. He did miss out on a lot of CS in that top lane.
Goong had some great dodges right there. He was able to juke enough. He was gonna live, but Watch kicks over.
I know some of you may be tuning into the stream and asking me, yes, but where is Veteran? Why is it just Kelsey? Motherfuckers, do you not see the name on the stream title? Are you not aware that this is my stream? That, I mean, he couldn't make it today, but, you know, also, should I feel weird that this is, like, the budget tracker? I mean, no one can access it even if you had the URL, but it's just, it's there. Anyway. Steel cage deathmatch? Yeah, exactly. For Kelsey versus chat? Absolutely. So yeah, this is gonna be my take on Mad, more or less, by myself. I will be completely honest and say part of the reason why I'm not had guests the last 2 days. So the first day, I had a guest that ghosted me. Second and third day, second day I just didn't have time to find one, and third day I was going to have Veteran on today, but he was feeling a bit under the weather, so I told him it was fine. But let's start by taking a look at some of the differences, as usual, between early Mad Lions and their playoffs form. I should have a guest tomorrow. Maybe. We are not sure. I was going to actually make catch-up tweets, but I have basically been doing job interviews from when I wake up, and by when I wake up, I mean like when I've done streaming until when I go to bed. So I guess for me, the thoughtfulness of the catch-up tweets has not occurred. I probably will make some catch-up tweets today. Let's see. I don't know, I'm kind of vibing this music. Sorry if this is a late stream. I might actually do, what I might actually do is a short video on why most coach resumes suck ass. Because there's a lot of problems with the resumes that I'm getting that are really tragic. So, I am told that Arma's champion pool is kind of limited. So, what we're going to do is look into that a little. In terms of, I also know that Mad Lions historically is kind of a Kalista team. So we'll probably watch a Kalista game, even though it wasn't that popular this time. Maybe we start at the Kalista game. That'd be a call. I've been told he's a basically Wukong Nar. So we'll make sure we watch like Jace and other things and judge how he plays those champs. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, we've investigated Mad Lions before, so I'm mostly going to be looking for improvements to their mid-game macro, for the most part. Okay, well, we can start with this one. This one might be interesting to watch. Gotta love Blanc Lee Sin, Camille into Wukong. So options in general for Misfits to sideline and avoid the 5v5, which I think they need to do here, which means this shouldn't be a one-sided game.
Very exciting announcement today. Opera GX.
Why are you not muted, PewDiePie? Quiet. Yes, I will make a tier list for main stage. There is a List Mania Day on September 29th, as Miracu has already pointed out. So that is when we list all the things. Okay. So initially looking at these drafts, like I said, you want to play pretty heavily for sides. Bars should still be able to clear waves pretty self-sufficiently under tower. You will have to, basically my lines will feel pressured to dive, which they shouldn't be able to do if Misfits play 1-3-1 correctly. So that's what we're kind of looking for here. Also, Mad Lions will feel pressured to snowball because their lane setup is not straightforward. They can't play like 2-1-1. They can't really play 1-3-1 that well. They have to fight for prio in pretty much any lane. So that's main thing is that they effectively just have to run a train here. So we'll be looking at how they're playing out their early game with Ballista. So historically, the Calista versus Varus matchup, and this was something that I actually talked about with Peter on stream in 2020 spring, I think, when he was still working with Mad. The Calista matchup is such that you feel pressured to dive on wave 3, otherwise Varus just has too much wave within his wave, and you should be relatively safe. But that is no longer the case. A lot of times now, Callistas play for prio in bot lane, especially in Europe, is something that I've noticed watching LEC games. So that their supports can roam, which is interesting. But let's see. For the rest of the lanes, we're looking to 2v2 around mid. There's an interaction such that basically the 1v1 is outplayable by Viego. I think this is something that most people think like, oh, okay, you just W2. You just basically use W near Viego, and then he can't really trade effectively. But even just like the straight up auto trades, it's like only a small damage differential that is preventing Viego from winning the trades, even with W active. So Viego's broken. But Viego Silas versus Lee Sin LeBlanc is actually kind of skill based, even though it is Lee Sin LeBlanc favored. Alright. So the first thing I'm immediately noticing as far as Galio are leashing. Calista does that nice bonus hedging play. Something like that. But the reason why is because of the shield bow build, which I think we talked about a few times. Mostly just because I have to remind myself that, otherwise I get annoyed. For no reason. Okay, for the most part, lanes are going relatively how they want. I would say VTO doesn't necessarily want this wave here. It looks like so the trade he took did only minimal damage, and it looks like he mostly did most of the damage to the wave. So it pushed a bit too fast, which means the third wave is meeting just outside of Silas's tower like this, which is a bit dangerous. Kind of annoying, especially because we see Viego here, so there's an opportunity for Humanoid to hit 3, and then LeBlanc has to be scared, because it's not like they can 2v2 under tower like that. Hog dodge. Meanwhile, we're looking at, because of Varus's threat, something like a 4-wave crash on bot. Looks like. But this is sort of what I'm talking about a bit when we look at bot lane, like the interaction between Varus Callista, the ability to start thinning wave more after like level 2, level 3. Especially if you have Galio. A lot of Galios would just go Q and completely concede the wave, but keep it thinned, right? I don't know if that's what Vander did. I'm assuming not, because I don't really like doing that, but it's helpful if you're concerned about getting dove. Let's see. Chill vibes. So yeah, basically there wasn't really a dive opportunity around bot. However, Misfits managed to play the wave was effective. So in general, we're basically at a point where jungle recalls back out on the map at around 4 minutes, looking to redo some of their clear shortly here. LeBlanc probably wants to crash this wave. Actually, nah. I don't think LeBlanc wants to crash this wave. She just wants to play around it. The minute that the way that was 4 minutes, which is why Leeson was hovering. This LeBlanc, unlike other LeBlancs, managed to get a recall off and buy a second item. So that can actually pressure the lane without allowing the opponent to rush marks in one buy, which is always good in general. No Peter guest star for Mad VOD review. I mean, he's not going to, I guess for me, since if I had worked as closely with a team like this as Peter, and I know he still keeps communication with Mac, I probably would not want to VOD review it. Publicly, just gonna say, especially if they're still in their season, which they are. That will be a little awkward for me because I would have to constantly be on guard about how much I can say. That's how I feel when I'm watching EG games on stream as well. Like when people ask me to, I remember we were talking, we had Zoo on and we were doing the 100 Thieves bot review, and there was an issue in the bot lane, and I didn't want to talk about it, but then we ended up breaking it down anyway. Yeah, kind of like that. In terms of just like a misplay in the bot lane. Oh, for 100T? Yeah, I mean, to an extent. I guess for me, it would be more like 100 Thieves Academy. I guess 100T, I've worked with both Huki and Someday. I am still, like, very guarded about how I talk about Someday, even though I worked with him 2 years ago. But it's more like if you ask me to VOD review 100 Thieves Academy, I know 4 of those players pretty well. So I would feel really awkward talking about that team, right? So, yeah. A little less so because I don't really talk to Golden Blue, right? Or the current staff as much about the game and things like that because I can't. Like, I'm pretty sure Peter still talks to mad coaches about the game because there's less competition. Unclear, unsure. I'm probably in season or closer to Worlds, not as much. Anyway, as I was saying. Sorry, I'm having trouble focus for a sec. Okay, here we go. Basically, Karzi sidestepped the top really well. He also kind of predicted the placement of it because he moved to the right and down while Vander coming from the left. So that was just like good kind of anticipation and forethought and making sure that they could get the chunk off. Aloya, like the only problem with this, right, is that they're now saying, okay, we want to set up a dive on this play when the wave is, like, this wave is not a diveable wave, right? So I think you're better off taking this chunk and then either kind of like flipping it under the tower right away, which I think is what Aloya is trying to do, or, you know, seeing if you can stop the back somehow. But regardless, I feel like if for as favorable a trade as they got, other than burning sums, this is not like the most insane play because Kabe is gonna miss like a wave. And Misfits trade play is a bit better. Like, I think this is kind of an opportunistic play as opposed to a play that was set up. Like, it was off of Kabe and Vander to an extent, mispositioning and misplaying the lane. Whereas this play from Misfits feels a lot more intentional, right? Like, a lot more planned. But again, it's because when we're talking about these Kalista dives versus Varus, they're almost always going to be opportunistic. Not capitalizing on opportunistic situations is good though, especially if it's around a lane where it's really hard to set up a consistent dive threat versus like a Varus lane as Kalista. Whereas if you have Camille versus Wukong, you're going to have a more favorable lane state. You're going to be able to take trades that really punish the opponent laner. And then LeBlanc should be able to get timers versus Silas, unless we're looking for a 2v2 mid play. So the next step what we would do is we would go back and dissect this and notice if there's, because like this is a wave state, right, where, oh, okay, this is a wave state where Humanoid's looking for a back, right? So in this situation, Humanoid's looking for a back on with Cannon coming in. So LeBlanc's going to basically have a roam timer off of this. It even looks like LeBlanc has a freeze here, which is interesting. So there should be a situation where the jungler comes mid off of, so it looks like LeBlanc like slow pushed one wave, looking for a slow stack, so you know most likely LeBlanc is going to have a timer off this. So I would say that unless this opportunistic play happens, you're better off looking to force mid with the vision that you have around mid that Misfits didn't bother to clear, right? Then to try to stop the LeBlanc roam timer the problem is that if you feel like you're not gonna win this trade, which I think like Humanoid intentionally looked for item advantage, like that back timer looks weird because it seems like it's so strange because I feel like this situation doesn't happen if the back timer isn't there and the back wasn't that favorable, but also because of the back, you have the ability to try to maybe contest this for Rome. Yeah, it's really hard. Like I feel like backing on 530 wave is so hard as a solo laner just because it's level 6 and then you have no actual trade potential, so it's like the best option you have is to dive bot, but there's no dive angle bot. So yeah, this play just gets off. I think. I think there's not really a good way to do so, to counter it, other than trying to shadow top to prevent the dive. But like a trade play shouldn't immediately happen, in my opinion. Like I think a trade play should be hard to hope for. It's more hope-filled than reliable, I guess. Maybe it's better off if he just recalls and goes top. Or Leona recalls and goes top. That's always an option as well. Because especially if you're communicating from mid, that LeBlanc will have a big window. I'm backing on the wave where solo laners turn 6, right? So LeBlanc's gonna slow stack and have a window to roam. Probably then, like, arm it and say, yeah, Camille could just stack wave and dive me. There's nothing I can do in my matchup. I'm pretty screwed. And then you have a conversation like, you know, I could have a room timer from bot or something as Kaiser, right? Or you say, oh, I can shadow top. I can recall after grab and I can shadow top. Like these are all options that they can have to try to stop the dive. But it's tricky because I feel like what they did instead was they went for a trade play, which normally I would say I'd rather do a trade play. Like if there's an option to do a trade play, I'd always rather do a trade play. But I feel like this trade play is just not good because it's not reliably executable. Anyway, that's my opinion all day. So it's been a very long explanation for a small part of the game. TP close to the counter gang top. But right after, at this point, we have another window. Another play window. I mean, now Camille is just super strong, right? And your main win con is Forest is just gonna free clear the wave. And Camille and LeBlanc are gonna sideline. So Misfits are accomplishing their early game objectives to make their mid game easier. Also, Galio dying here this early in the game. Galio's gonna be back on the map first before Leona. Even if Leona backs insta off this, Galio's gonna be back off the map insta, and Leona doesn't really have a good window because they just crashed one wave. That wasn't even a cannon wave. So Galio goes mid, immediately makes a mid play off of it, and to me, I think that that's like a way better overall map play that can be made off of that dive situation bot. So I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Sotsa, because it's a better window for Galio in general than for Leona. So worth it for Silas to take Galio if he dies? I think it's not bad, right? So, like, we're gonna have to replay these dives because of reasons. But Humanoid's coming out of base now. LeBlanc will have another room timer, so if let's say Humanoid takes Galliol, right? And then LeBlanc, instead of doing this, looks for another roam, which here it recalls, so it's probably not going to be reliable. Then it's easier for Humanoid to clear this wave and try to match if he does that. But because of the early state of the game, most likely LeBlanc is just going to recall. But that also creates a longer window for Silas, and in my opinion, you don't really need like a Galio to dive that. So I also am curious about this base timer from Callista, going back again. Yeah, Callista hasn't based in like 10 million years, and the wave doesn't look super sick, so. They definitely fucked up the wave a bit. But now the wave coming out of base is cannon, so Forest wants to push. That's the issue. Leona stayed 10-second base, but even then, Galio will be back on the map faster because Leona they still have to crash wave, and Leona still has to recall. Like ideally, they would crash next wave, right? But Leona and Callista actually just back there. So even then, like Galio death timer is really short. Like he's level 4, so he'd be mid first no matter what. Die for tempo. Is there a world where we have MS? Oh god. Thank you, Miraku. I appreciate your daily shit posting. Alright, so this is the LEC special. Just push single waves into tower and see what happens. We are roaming for Rift on OA state that doesn't matter. I guess the best play you're gonna get out of roaming for Rift here is denying Rift. I kind of don't mind this. As far as Herald setup play goes, Wukong gets wave in top. They're basically just roaming mid so that Humanoid can get this wave, and then Viego's instantly starting Rift. Callista and Leona go back bot. The only issue here is now Galio has a timer, so you have to be confident that you're going to do Rift really fast. Or you can make like a fast play on Camille. Let's see. So this Rift setup overall, I don't mind. I know a lot of people are have been asking me, are there any Rift plays that you like? I think we had one yesterday. So here you go. They're getting wave and killing the deep vision off of Lee Sin, or making sure Lee Sin can't stay in jungle. It's kind of weird. I'm trying to think what they get out of this. Other than just killing the pink. But instead, Misfits trade for bot camps, which is okay. The thing is that the Rift Herald at this point in the game would be much more threatening to have on Misfits than to have on Mad Lions, because it's a lot easier for them to take plates and insta-kill a tower, whereas all of the turrets have basically near full plates for Misfits. So yeah, Matter basically just gonna get like a couple plates off of this and call it good. Not the biggest fan of that Rift drop, gonna be honest. So let's talk about all of the options that they had here, right? So the first thing to note is just mid lane is the way it is. Silas versus LeBlanc. We'd rather kind of probably punish the LeBlanc a bit. Or use this to, if we can save Rift Herald longer, I think we have enough time. Use this for tempo to give us like a Drake, or to stall out a map play on top or something along those lines. Generally speaking, play their mid, but dropping this here, not only are you in a position where, okay, now this is like a big wave that LeBlanc is starting to freeze on, and you're investing your humanoid TP here to try to stun them off of what basically amounts to like half of a wave. Let's see. Or one small wave. So they do lose this one entire small wave. Maybe if I'm Varus here, I just try to get those creeps. But basically what amounts to a small wave. Diving like super deep. I just feel like the value of this play for the amount of investment in it is kind of troll, considering. But they do like actually pull VTO. A lot of cooldowns expended, so if you're a good LeBlanc, you can clean up. Camille should have recall, should have a prio. This is still what I would call it overforce. This is crazy to me. Like, it would almost be more worthwhile for LeBlanc and Camille to just like dive top, because I don't think Varus has to be particularly strong in this game for it to be functional. Right? Like, Varus doesn't have to be particularly strong here. So if you're like, Varus should probably have some ability to get out. In the state, right, he's more or less already out. Like, Varus is more or less already out. Razork has no reason to go back here. Galio's dead, but that's fine. You're denied a wave. They probably get this tower. But I feel like this is not so much a real play, because you have so many creeps that you can lose mid. Camille should just have a huge advantage topside. Top camps are up, you know? Like, a lot of options are available on the map, so let's say your Callista gets relatively snowballed. I feel like that doesn't even counter the setup that you have that well. And instead you're just feeding extra kills by, I mean, this almost, I use the term conveyor belt feeding. That's what this exchange almost looks like. So Misfits' reaction to this was just super poor, in my opinion. But you know, it's so this is interesting to me. Like, if this is so I will say, comparing it to other EU teams, right? This type of play, it's definitely a plan that they use multiple members to get involved in, right? It's definitely a plan. Definitely mechanics and confidence. But feels really forced, in my opinion. Yeah, make big fight, he reset, he kill all, but Varus, Misfits spot lane basically got out of that situation. They lose their full tower, sure, but honestly, all Varus has to do in mid-game, he just, like, insta-kills the wave, and then we play around our side lanes. Feels really weird that they would sacrifice that much as Misfits to make a salvage play. And then execute the salvage play so poorly as well. Okay, I don't know. Mad Lions are just like running around the map and fighting shit. that's my analysis. I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. It feels weird. Okay. So this is a baseline, right? This is kind of, I feel like this is more or less what you would expect from a Mad Lions Callisto game from like 2020 early summer, right? Something like this. A lot of kind of forces, a lot of poke plays. But yeah, so I'm curious because people say that Mad Lions like really went through a transformation over the course of summer, became much I guess a top 4 global team, right? So this doesn't look like a top 4 global team right now, but I also haven't seen them play mid game yet. But basically also having expectations of their mid game from watching them in spring. If they drop bot lane tower against, I mean, you just fist fight an enemy jungle, but they're also like they're playing into Misfits strong side on top, right? Immediately after the bot fight, right? That was the thing that I was talking about. That's just like they're just fighting a lot. That was bad. Like why were you doing that? Yeah, it was very bizarre. Like they almost lost almost their entire lead doing that. Okay. So yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what comes out of this. And then we're running the salvage. Meanwhile, looking at humanoid. So this is fine. We're not engaging on the salvage play at least. I think I wonder if you see humanoid like this. Let me watch this again. So I wasn't paying as much attention as I should. So okay, we get move off mid because we have Varus and we don't care about anything. We just catch wave low. And we're fine with it, which is what I've been saying all game. And then we're trying to force this time off here as a fast play because we didn't catch wave first, right? So we have to make a fast play. If we don't win mid, we have to make a fast side play. And the Vander ult was not really necessary. So now I see him trigger ult at this point, and I'm just very confused. But so Mad like rotate to match. But the key here is humanoid is hitting tower. If you see humanoid hitting tower like this, you still have Varus Lee Sin ult. Maybe if Galio doesn't use ult like this, you have Galio ult. I wonder if you see this. Do you like force on Alioya here if you know humanoid's showing bot? Or are you scared? Yeah, humanoid doesn't even have TP. Maybe Camellia is not up. Because I think you're... Instead, they just let her die. Yeah, and that's what I would think, right? You would just, like, Elyoya walks up like that, you see him on the wave. You engage, you know humanoid spot, no TP. Seems like a good play to me. But instead now you're backing up bot, sacrificing here, top back, sacrificing here it, and LeBlanc rotated to match Silas. And they just are winning two lanes now. They get Rift, they rotate down into mid, drop Rift. LeBlanc had to push out this wave all the way to even get a timer and then just auto attacks the turret, so. Also, here it's trying to look for flank here. Huh. Again, like, the term conveyor belt feeding comes to mind. Okay, maybe Kaiser dies. I never thought I'd say this, guys, but I'm glad that Rogue is going to Worlds. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's watch a little bit more of this game because I just want to see. Okay, no Rift Heralds. If there's how they're going to come back out of the map after this reset. Know what they're gonna look for if they try to control it side, because I feel like the last few minutes has just been a sequence of weird mistakes by Misfits that Mad Lions capitalized on really well. But now Mad Lions kind of have to reset their play, and I'm curious where they're going. So from here, I think you just play for bot side control right away. You're a bit late on collecting top wave, so Misfits will shift into top first. I wonder. There isn't really a trade available top. So how does Mad Lions comp get garden control? Well, they force mid. There aren't waves set up to make a trade play, so you want to contest Dragon. Luckily, you have Leona. So Leona with Clisselt, so phase checking isn't too painful. And yeah, that's what they do. They just force. Like, they can come late to Drakes because they have a snowballed kill you comp with Leona with Clisselt to phase check. Yes, there's not a lot of nuance here. Let's see now what they do. So top wave is not really a play state. Bot wave is not really in a play state. So just recalling through mid, waiting for Misfits to show insides. Getting some jungle camps. Catch Orkin. Okay, well, I think I'm done with this game. Let's see some other matches. So we saw a classic Misfits of Madland Force Comp. Let's take a look at some more recent games. So again, talking about different champ picks. So let's see. I usually think of G2 as a reasonable litmus test, especially last year. I enjoyed watching the Mad G2 games, even despite the weird Olympics. So I think that that's a good place to start looking. Do I want a Gwen versus TK game? I kind of want to see them against G2TF comp. Which one's better? Or play TF. I kind of want to see them play TF, I should say. Which game is better, I wonder? Watch the game they lose to Rogue. This one? Let me look at these lanes. Oh, they have 0 prio lanes. And versus dive comp. So I don't know what there is to watch. Like, this would not be a game that I'd be that interested in seeing, because this looks like a draft fail. Game 1 was good. Okay. We'll watch game 1. It'll give us some balance to see them shit stomp and then lose. PewDiePie just really wants to be on my screen for some reason. Thank you, ads. Bar's first pick, Azrael is in. This is where I just read the draft and feel smart. And then everyone's like, oh, she's talking. She must be saying something valuable. No, I'm literally just looking at the champions. Okay, Varus. Picking Ezreal and Varus, we talked about this before. Basically, you obviously lose early lane, but you're not diveable, and then you win mid lane by just poking Varus off the wave and trying to get power that way. Lee Sin, it's kind of straightforward. I really like watching this matchup. LeBlanc TF. I think it's one of my favorite mid lane matchups to watch right now. Just because it's very... Like, if you use your wave clears TF to just kill the wave, then you basically get poached to shit, and LeBlanc can get prio anyway. But it's straightforward to force a fight, so... You want to be trying to trade to get wave control. I didn't want to watch this game because it has Tom Crunch Top in it, and Tom Crunch Top Makes me cry. The only reason this champion exists is to make top laners miserable, okay? It's so annoying, because it's not even that useful in mid-game. If you don't let it snowball, which everyone was letting it snowball because they're like, I can kill it. No. No, you can't. You can't kill it, then he out-damages you in lane phase. Once Mad Man Varus the series is over. I can see that. So... I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually even like G2 Sports' draft that much. But they won the game. So I'm assuming they won through LeBlanc Snowball, Tom Critch being really annoying in every situation where TF ported, and yeah, that's my assumption. Now we'll get to be maybe we'll be more critical of our mid here. I don't know. We'll see. Which patch was this again? This was playoffs, so it was 11.15, right? Yes. So this was the nerfed Gwen where she could actually beat TK and Lane before this. Now she cannot. She can't. It was not easy though. You needed to go ignite TP and then only take trades. He was up. Oh god. That was almost a tragedy. We learned that Mad forced a lot, and that Misfits' response to them forcing a lot was chain feeding. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And now we're moving on. This is, what happens when I don't have someone to guide me and I'm just like, yeah, let's watch Mad Lions Callista game. Classic Mad Lions Callista game. Oh my god. The humanity. Okay. Just my god wondered on my screen. I want to defend Wonder, right? I really do. But then we see him just get chased down the lane and not proc his passive and lose like 1,000,000 HP just like kind of standing there. And then I'm curious, I'm curious as to what the thought process is. Was it pre-nerf Gwen? Because 11.15, even pre-nerf Gwen though, you can trade, you can proc passive, and then she can't get you that low. But I'm pretty sure she was nerfed, was nerfed before 11.15. But even then, like, I know how the trade went, because I watched this matchup a lot. And you should be able to just proc passive and not lose that much of your HP. Wave is already pushing into you. Right? So then you're fine. You get level 2 under tower. and then you could trade back pretty well. She just loses. Like, trades were actually really even. Even in pre-nerf 1, it was still hard to win the goddamn lane at level 1. Unless she, like, hard cheesed you. Like, this is top catch. He's an annoying motherfucker. But I've seen this matchup a lot. It's even, yeah, it is nerfed Gwen. It's nerfed Gwen as well. So there, I feel like there's just no excuse for him basically not interacting with the lane and getting harassed down for free. Isn't this just unplayable from draft? Like, I actually don't like G2's draft. So, I think it's... So, the reason why I don't like G2's draft is I think it's, like, pretty volatile mid-lane matchup, right? The only way that you really win mid-game, because Ezreal will have... Like, Ezreal's not that... Shouldn't be diveable bottom. The only way that you win mid-game, unless you take, like, a ton of trades and get low HP like this. The only way you win mid-game, right, is if... I don't know, Ezreal forgets that he can key you in the face and get free lane prio, and... Mad can't play the map. Sid's broken, but Carsey took like 1 million free trades, so... I feel like this, they should not die here. Or at least trade 1 for 1. Should be able to outplay. You have Cleanse, Flash? Yeet? You should at least force someone to die. But he was like half HP when he got those. Okay, now big wave. Full jungler spot side. So this is a much better wave state for Mad Lions to crash. Even like with the wave that big, it's not too easy to thin from Varus, but he'll thin it and it won't be a playable lane state, but it'll get in, so it's nice. It's comfortable. I don't know what this song is. It's not a real song. I refuse to accept this as a song. The playlist, by the way, is lonely. So, I don't know this song. Maybe this song is meant to make me feel miserable. Okay, so lane is pretty volatile as expected. Chapstick good backs. Okay, playing S2 through mid and looking for bot dive. I will say, given the fact, even though Armit had favorable trades top early, it's still like literally impossible to dive home Gensh. So there aren't a lot of good trade plays available for Mad to play through top. So it is more of a kind of salvaging early game, but I think naturally speaking, it's good for you because you have the ability for to control side mid game. You control mid game. You control mid through Ezreal. If nothing happens in the Tahm Kench lane, then it's really hard for Tahm Kench to feel super effective in fight scenarios. His main job is to cover on TF port with ulti if someone gets gold carded. If Rush forced the wave in, this wave state isn't incredibly good. But at least they cause Ezreal to lose a wave. Kai'Sa's back timers seem really weird to me, for the most part. Like, theoretically, you would back off of this wave crashing. Like, insta, right? He walks all the way back to tower. So he does back more or less right away. I guess it's Leona's back being cancelled, but it is favorable for them. I feel like normally there's no way he should lose this wave, right? He should back like closer in lane, maybe in the lane brush. Walking all the way back to his tower feels like unnecessary in terms of tempo. But I guess he's just guaranteeing that his back's not getting cancelled and sacrificing some tempo for it. You'd think so, right? That they would just turn on Braum because they have Leona, but and Varus would be under tower catching wave. But I think the main thing there is just that they feel like they need to match items. And Mickey X can technically queue from like a screen away, so it's not guaranteed that you're gonna land the Leona engage, and then you just delayed your tempo and didn't get your match your back for no reason. Kind of sucks. But they have a good tower from bot for rifts. Leona is just coming by to say hello, effectively. I guess. She doesn't really have a job, so can't think of a better thing for her to do. It's not like they can force talk because they're against the Tahm Kench. I guess she could try to play for bot vision knowing they're on Rift. But there's not a lot you can get out of it. Maybe they can... They should know bot camps are coming up though, so maybe they can get pushed in and try to do an invade. Because it's not like they can contest Rift. Ezreal's gonna stay bot anyway. Let me see this. So the moment Leona's coming out of base, or coming up from bot, out of base, she's just coming out of base to go mid first. But LeBlanc should get the wave in before she can be here. Let me see. Can't see the wave state. It's whatever. I don't care. So and then Vars probably get timer off of crashing the 8-minute wave. So for this POV, when they go into river, I feel like Leona can't do anything. Shouldn't be able to do anything. But she's already a bit scared. Maybe she can stay around mid, and if they show walking through mid, then they can pivot into bot side. That might be the best option. Swave state isn't bad for them to make a play top either. It's not like they can kill TK, but maybe they can use this window to like guard the freeze. Deny him a few creeps, but I mean, it's not that high value. Oh, Mira, Soli, all the gang's all here. Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not that high value. Probably better to try to go into bot side, especially if the timing requires you about to crash bot wave. So, you know, you've got some good window to look bot, maybe some extra camps on Elioya. Neither play is insane, so I feel like Leona standing there isn't gonna be the thing that loses them the game. You know, that's probably not something I'd bring up in VOD review, just like as a concept for individual review. It's like, oh, if you see them walk through mid here, you should consider these other options. Look, this is the game chat wanted me to review, so this is the game we're reviewing. I guess Rich is low, so they kind of have to drop it on this wave. I feel like they could have waited a little bit longer to drop this. Especially since this wave isn't procced. But if they're using it for Drake tempo as well, that's okay, I guess. Since it doesn't have that long for this world, and there are probably better things, like maybe it goes to like a Krug's first or something. Small optimizations. And then they make a play off of the next wave and drop the Rift. With a bigger wave stack so that they can guarantee this tower. This Drake pool feels really sketch to me, because Wave is coming back and bot, G2 might be hitting it, and mid doesn't have prio, so this is a window where TF could just port and kill you with Drake. With Elyoya coming. So that Drake pool felt a little weird and preemptive. Okay. Now Varus strong with wave controls and he's coming back through bot. Crazy is zoned up. He's over the wall. Province to dead off of TF4. Eagles currently joined the fight. Oh, nice from Reckless. Wave state, not bad for Armit, not the greatest either. Yeah, someone's gonna have to TP tell for that. But overall, Wonder should lose more. Not that he cares, because as we discussed, Tom Kench gives pretty much zero fucks in this situation. It was nice. Bars. Okay, back on the map. Long gets this turret. Are G2 shifting up? Or are they just clearing vision? Don't mind if they shift up here. I think it's kind of interesting. As soon as they see Leona, they should rotate back mid though. Now they know strong side for them is bot side, so they should get next mid wave. And then shifts into bot for vision. Tom Kench can kind of stall top on dive. Or, you know, Tom Kench will just int. That can happen too. Like I said, they should know their strong side is bot side. Mad is confident their strong side is top side, basically the Rift Herald. They are a bit behind tempo, but they can recover tempo with Rifts. But someone should recall and answer LeBlanc. Okay, we have TF coming out of base. I think G2 are pretty late to shift bot. But I wanted them to shift bot a lot earlier. I think Yankos wanted his top camps. Thank you for follows, everyone. I think I had a sub yesterday, like the moment I ended my stream, which was unfortunate. So, L9 1234, if you're here, thank you for resubbing last night. G2 chat, want to watch the one game they won? Yeah, it was L9 spelled E-L-N-E-I-N, so. Look at that, another Frostfire. All of Wonder's sins are forgiven. Everything else looks really normal. Well, they do win this game. Okay, now we're shifting into bottom correct window. Matter feel like they're forced to make a play on the Tom Kench. This never ends well for anyone. See, this is what happens to Tom Kench when it doesn't snowball. Remember, don't trade with the Tom Kench if it's a competent Tom Kench. Sadness. Yeah, I asked which LeBlanc TF game they wanted me to watch, and they picked this one. So... what this game feels a bit like is that Mad think they're more behind than they are. So they're making a lot of overload plays on one side of the map. And D2 are taking much better windows. So this is a stall play. Finally, we're in a position where Mad are actually ahead on their strong side. So they're going to give Drake for this. Maybe. Mad rotate to Drake pretty slow in most situations. They have good topside control. I'm assuming this is just G2 get Mountain Soul and that's it. So now that we have so much gold on Armit, I'm wondering if excuse me, Jesus. Mad might be a coffee angle after this game. Mad start playing 0-3-2 with TF cover after he gets side control. You can play like a Lee Sin Leona hover on one side to force TF to get Pro versus LeBlanc. Because Ezreal's pretty safe on midwave. And TF does have a window now, so we should shift into topside. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Why are we circling the pink boards? No one cares. Just get mid-pro and kill them with Tom Kench showing bot. Or just hit mid-turret for no reason. That is acceptable as well. So this was a big criticism I had for Mad in like 2019, which was the last time I did a lot of Worlds content. Like I did articles, I traveled to the press room, did interviews, things like this, was that they would not really take steps to clear flank wards. So they would often, before like grouping to hit mid tower, which is basically what I'm just saying here. So they would often create windows where like good sidelining teams could TP on them and kill them. So they still weren't doing what I expected, which is rotating into strong side after clearing one wave, because they had the window there from TF push that they just didn't use. They used to like hit mid tower to half HP. Great. Sick. It was 2019. This was a different Mad Lions roster. It was Splice, technically. This was like, the article was called Why is Splice the weird uncle that you use sending to Worlds? So they rotate to which part of the jungle? So what I'd want, right? So Tomcat shows bot here. So they get timer from TF. Tomcat shows bot here. They rotate, they kill midwave. Now this is their window to clear out topside vision and get topside control. So they want to basically clear the wards around Baron and then drop all their vision topside and play on top wave. To get another window, then they basically do this again and keep dragging people around the map. And if one of the sideliners moves up, preferably LeBlanc, they can make a 0-3-2 play with the solo winners. That's how you would normally play out this game. So see now, because they basically wasted their tempo and didn't do anything with it to gain control, Tom Kench and LeBlanc will both have a window for free here, when Mad could have just maintained their windows, which is what you want to do with the TF comp. And now both sides will have to basically show for Mad. Instead, we are grouping mid on a TF comp when LeBlanc has window. So nice. So yeah, this game is not inspiring confidence and Mad Lions in me. So I'm gonna need some hopium from chat. What should I watch next to make me feel like Mad Lions is gonna win Worlds? Hopium. Rogue versus Mad Game 3. Really? The best thing you've got for me is a rogue game? Yes. FNC Mad Game on. We'll do a rogue game and an FNC game. We've got time. I think Rogue are my HLE, honestly. There's no team at Worlds with less coordination than fucking Rogue. That is my story, and I am sticking to it. Unless I watch Damwon tomorrow, and it's like, yeah, these guys suck. But I watched enough Damwon VODs just from my other VOD reviews to not think that. So. But that's the problem with Rogue, is that all their players literally load into the game thinking that, oh, I have to 1v9 this game. No, you don't. You can actually coordinate plays and make them as a team. It's a crazy concept. I know. It's insane. Wild. But yeah, G2 playing Sidelane's a lot better, which is strange when you have a TF. Is it weird that so far I kind of prefer Fanatic? Is that weird? I think that's weird. But we will see. We will see, my friends. We will see. I am expecting to be impressed by the transformation that these guys make within the last 2 weeks of playoffs. Ask anyone. I have been obsessed with Sidelanes for many a year. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Because I would say even the way they shifted pressure in the Misfits game we watched, which was a train wreck, was a lot better than this. Though I would say it was probably a lot easier to play because of how many weird-ass plays Misfits were playing and opportunities that they weren't taking. And I think I used the phrase conveyor belt feeding like 3 times that game. It was impressive. Okay, cool. We'll do the next one then. I'm gonna make coffee though. It's time for the coffee break. I need a coffee break sign or something. Can we do... Old side lane, Kelsey. I remember, I think it was like 2018 Worlds, where all I would talk about was how much, was how teams would play side, and I would use that as my entire basis for deciding who would win. And then side laning just ended up being the meta, without me even predicting that it was going to be the meta. It was pretty impressive. Okay, it was literally just me complaining about random shit, so I think we're gonna put up a coffee break sign. Do I draw a lion on my coffee break sign? Is that something that people would want? I don't think people would want that. Wow, Pain is a weird program. Coffee break. And then we get like a weird, ugly ass yellow color. And we draw a lion. Increase thickness. Here's the shaggy mane. There we go. And then the face. Coffee break lion. and then a coffee mug. The lion has a coffee mug, okay? That's the important thing. Okay, I'm sorry that I subjected you guys to this. I'll be right back. Okay, goodbye, Mad Lion's coffee break line. We are back for some high quality entertainment. Let's see, what are we? We're looking at, someone suggested game 3 of Rook. Okay, let's do that. We'll do game 3 of the Rook series. I remember it was after this series that people started on my timeline saying that they thought that Mad Lions was the top 4 team in the world, so, you know, I'm ready to be impressed. Though, honestly, there are still people who think that Rogue is underrated. I don't really know what to tell those people, so I'm hoping that these are not the same people, because then we might have some words. Okay, so we have a first BTF. Did we already watch this game? Is this the game with the Darth Vader no? Because I remember the Xin Zhao. So I was like all optimistic, and then suddenly, I don't know, it might be the Darth Vader no game. We'll see. We'll soon learn, because I remember specific cat things that happened in this game. Do I like comebacks? If the comebacks are taking advantage of good small window gaps and interesting, then yes. If the comebacks are the moment that was the most terrifying thing to me was I was like, oh, this is good, just, you know, pull the Baron and get the midway, pull the Baron. It's like, don't go to Drake, don't go to Drake. That was basically when I stopped watching the stream, so. Alright. Do I want to watch this again? This is the Merrick timeline. Okay, well, if we already watched this one, I'm not exactly excited about it. So, is there a different Rogue game to watch that might be good? Maybe this one, because I do want to see some Armageddon. Let's see, Rise. So this is again like some side lane options, and they have a Callista. Okay, we can maybe. I don't like this draft. I'm not insane about. I'm not like super in love with this draft. This is definitely a snowball draft. Maybe this draft is better. We'll do game 2. So I have a sneaking suspicion that I've already watched game 1. I think I've already watched this entire series because I watched it live also. But you know, we'll do game 2. So I'm not super excited about picking Callista here. They banned Ashe and Vars is banned, which is kind of a Callista bait, in my opinion. But Callista to me doesn't really comp well with Rise Jace. So you're looking for a super hard snowball strategy here. Oh, the other one? Okay. Yeah, so it was that one. Yeah, I don't particularly wish to rewatch that. So we'll do this one. If you want my thoughts on that game, you can find it on my YouTube channel at the end of the Rogue versus the Rogue video. By the way, I'm probably gonna end 7:30 today. Just because I have an 8 a.m. interview. So that's about an hour from now. Why do these ads pop up and make you close them again? I don't understand this behavior from people. We're getting to the time of the VOD review stream where we start 2xing to try to get more games in. But actually, I think we're not there yet, because this is our chance for Mad Lions to make me excited about them. So we'll look at this. So Callista versus Ophelia is kind of similar to Varus, except with the blue guns. So Aphelios shouldn't die to Callista too often. Humanoid trading while mid. Expecting, so if Jace can get Oda low, Ornn is diveable. Also, C-Bot.Rise can like basically spam pots on the wave and look for recall and dive top. So that is what I'm expecting the game plan to be, but we shall see. Wave is not really prepped well for this, but like I would expect Ornn to be way lower if he's allowed to thin the wave this much. Instead, it looks like Jace is half health. Nice. So instead of looking for a dive angle, they're looking to play for topside camps. A little late on this rotation, so kind of a waste of time. Solo killing Khan is... it's an achievement, I guess. So this is just a nice casual early game. No dives happening anywhere in our dive comp. Which isn't honestly really a dive comp. It's a very confused dive slash 1-3-1 comp. That doesn't really make sense from a draft standpoint. And Humanoid's roaming up here, hopefully, with Armit not prepping the wave properly, threaten anything, and losing half of his mid wave for that. So, you know, it's whatever. So now, as a result, because of that being a failed play, they're forcing on mid. That's cool. I'm fine with that. This guy is dead. But this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, so if I'm Ornn here, right? Sorry, this is an aside about Rogue and why I find them so frustrating. Okay? If I have Odo here, I'm like, nah, I'm not diveable. He's not going to crash wave. So Humanoid is either recalling or he's gonna go back mid. Most likely Humanoid is gonna want to go back mid because he's gonna want to catch this wave before the 530 wave comes in, so he can hit 6 on a favorable timer. Why is Leona bot? Kids don't want to tell me that. I don't understand. Like, if you know Ryze is probably gonna come back mid, why is Leona bot? Like, even Alistar is roping for this. And Leona's like, yeah, we're casually getting our wave in, and I'm here? It just feels like no one says anything to anyone, or even uses F keys, or is aware that there are other players in this game. I'm fine. This is not a Rogue VOD review. I'm fine. It's cool. We aren't shitting on him. I'm saying that no one on this team is talking to each other or making plans or communicating what should be done next. And that's not Trippy's fault. It's just, why isn't he mid? I don't know. Something bad happened. In the comms, or in the F-keying, or in the awareness of the game, and what Ryze is likely to do in most scenarios. Anyway, now that my lonely playlist is over, we are going to see if there's a lion playlist. There is, but it is 6 songs. However, I have been suggesting Longing Guitars playlist, so we're gonna go with that. Longing Guitars. Okay. Signs of life from Rogue. We're hovering mid on a cannon wave so that Humanoid doesn't get a roam timer. Okay. Learning. Hovering mid but not doing anything because we're afraid of Viego, which is fine. But we're afraid of Viego and Ryze's mercs, so I think this is a losing fight. Viego's here. We also technically don't know Callista. Like, there is the universe where Callista runs mid here as well. She's got a bot timer. So Rogue, Matt often do this, and I'm wondering if this is... Oh no, he's just backing second. Okay. But they're, or not Rogue, but Matt often do this, where their bot lanes back on wave states that don't make sense to me. So maybe this is just something that I don't know that they do, which means that I'll probably have to watch Carthy Pro views. But this, I don't think this is an example of it. He's just catching wave and backing to match Aphelios. But there were previous games where we watched where I felt like he didn't really have to back where he backed, and he would give like favorable wave states to the opponent and tempo to the opponent by backing like early or on a weird wave. So I'll probably just have to go back and watch and try to figure out what he's thinking. Look at this. Look, this is like character development from Rogue, making plays together. So cute. Is Elliot a show here? I think so. They just engage on Rise and the bait doesn't work. But both laners are looking to make a player at 8 minutes to guarantee a rift, right? So that's just a common jungle timer. So both are looking for 2v2. On the wave, but Inspired struck first, so. Inspired struck first and they got the playoff, but Humanoid TV's back, so starting this here doesn't make sense. I think you want to play for Alistar window first before you start this. And not even Armin has window, because Odo Omna is just a fucking boss at Orin, apparently. So now, because Humanoid invested TP, they get Rift. Looking at plates, it's not that high value for them. They get like 300 gold off of it, which is okay. They probably will look for dropping it mid around when Drake spawns. Might be the most optimal way to use it given the map states. Oh. Odo traded a lot of HP to try to get Prio for Rifts. My god. I would call this a C9 dive. It's just not prepped at all. They're just like, yeah, looks like a dive angle. Because they planned it. Oh? Goodbye, Inspired. Your solo queue lifestyle is not doing you any favors. Oh, nice ult from Larson. But he does no damage because he's pre-Lost Chapter Oriana. So, Oriana catching this wave. It's going to take him a while to clear it. I really wanted to see what happens after this because I think it's important. Ryze has a big window off of this because Oriana has no mana and is going to have to match recall. So, it'll take him a while to clear the wave. Plus, it looks like Kalista has a window to stack bot. So this is an angle where actually a dive play bot is possible, even though it's Aphelios versus Kalista. Just because Aphelios was giving this window, Kalista has a slow stack here. Like you can see him in this replay, even setting this up. Oh my goodness! They're kind of doing it. The wave isn't perfect, but they're doing it. Aww. Look at them. They didn't use the Ryze window. But, look at them. They see the bot play. I don't know about the Jace TP. That seems a little silly. The Jace TP seems very silly. I am not on board with the Jace TP. However, you know, fun stuff. Not on board with the Jace TP or the Overforce. Neither of those things. But getting the bot lane river, that was good. Yeah, I was gonna say, Jace, can you just go top for me, sweetie? Thank you. I mean, someone should go top here to get top wave. No one needs to be here. Basically, after, like, the moment you do this, it's like, oh, okay, I fucked up, you know? Because Ryze still has to get his wave in here. So no matter what happens, as soon as he channels this TP, they're gonna miss like half the wave. So that's guaranteed. But, you know, someone has to go and get it. It can't be Ryze, it can't be Jace, it could be anyone. Because you're probably not going to get this one. I think Ryze going top to get the wave gives Oriana window. Which is not the best. If you're playing for Drake. But Jace can also just recall as soon as he TP's bot. Be like, yeah, my bad. I guess I shouldn't have done that. And then you lose way less. I mean, even giving Oriana Drake if you're bad is... If you're not playing for Drake, giving Oriana window isn't the greatest in my opinion. Because you want to keep playing for your Ryze windows. Losing a wave top isn't the end of the world. You count Armada as an import? Yeah, I mean, I just pretend that top lane is not a lane after I watched how he played the first few waves. It's also probably why I'm not so upset that he lost, like, a wave, because it's probably not gonna do much of it anyway. Sorry, that's rude to say. But yeah, it's all good. Peter, tell me which game I should watch to be convinced that Mad Lions is a top 4 team globally. Because I'm still very confused by the Mad Lions hype. I've been watching them for hours. I watched the playoffs run. I want to be convinced. I really do. Matt, I can see game too. Okay. Yes, that's Peter Dunn. Only from like 10 minutes though. So you're saying their early game doesn't get better. Got it. I appreciate how much effort they put into forcing bot lane. I appreciate that. I also appreciate that they did get a bit better at setting up the play from the first Ballista game we watched. The second one I appreciate more. Okay. Because I asked these motherfuckers, and they were like, watch Rogue. I said, really? The best thing you got for me is a Rogue game? And to their credit, though, a lot of them did say Fanatic games, so. So far, I have not seen that yet in their games. I've seen like some interesting plays, but for example, like the earlier games we were watching, it felt like Elioya wasn't around mid at the correct timings. I think Kaiser's roams have been really on point though, generally speaking. That said, I feel like, for example, Trimby is just never gonna match roams correctly, so kind of hard to say. I think TL, yeah, because TL will basically do Misfits did in conveyor belt feed to make salvage plays. So there you go. Okay, I want to see how they set this up. So I've been just talking random shit for the past little bit. Okay, we're all the way back. Hooray. So we see Hans bots. Orin just got the wave in top. Orin has a window that he's rotating on for reasons that I'm not aware of because there's no wave mid that he's gonna do anything about. The wave is already in. They lost the tower, and now he's rotating here. There's no way to contest this mid wave with just Lisa and when Hans on the spot. So I'm not quite sure what this play was about. Other than feeling, I guess we can say that he felt sorry for Hermit, considering how the early land phase went. Maybe that's what happened. I assume what he was trying to do was shift mid to catch the next mid wave, but he went through river, and that was not how you're going to do that. I feel like there are a lot of teams like that though, where I've done the VOD review and I'm just like kind of meh on their macro, etc. But I think their team fighting is really nice. Okay, I think T1. What's the other team? Okay, so this is just... Hey, this is weird. Because normally what you would do here, right, is you would assume that now that they've got top in and they're here, that Mad would shift off to the strong side. And Rogue would be rotating here first. But what they do is they make like a fast play around this window, knowing they have Rise. So this is actually really cute, I guess. I would call this a cute play, like, because it's you have to be confident that you can kill someone when you're gonna make this kind of play, because before the inevitable collapse happens, because this should be a Rogue strong side. So I like this. I like this awareness. This is the kind of stuff that I saw Humanoid do a lot last year when I watched, that made me think he was like really, really smart. But I was kind of expecting that when we watched the TF game earlier, and I was like, eh. Well, I mean, the word being there is fine, right? Like, obviously you will know that you're aware that you have Rise ult, so you can make plays like this. Like, I assume because I see Humanoid habitually make plays like this, they set it up. They're coming out of base, so obviously they're thinking about it beforehand, right? Like, of course, Peter. They're not just, like, on a whim going top. You know that you can be there first, like, you're utilizing the Rise. Like, I guess, like, I could explain that to chat, but yes. Of course. But the thing is that the way that you would counter something like this, right? If you scout and you know that Rogue are capable of doing this, you would use the fact that you're out on the map first as Rogue, and Like, I don't know why, for example, Lee Sin is bought here. He's bought to get camps. But to me, this is super greedy, because this is not their strong side. So I see also, like, this is something I didn't notice before either. Like, Matt is pinging question mark, because they think Lee Sin is down here. So obviously they're like, yes, his camp's right here. So it makes sense he would come here. But this is their timing, because Hansama is about to show on the wave to retake topside. So the fact that Lee Sin is down here when it's their timing to retake topside and Leon is up here, this is like a big mistake on Rogue's part, right? This is another weird ass issue in general. But obviously this is like well thought out, because you could still make it here maybe faster. It would just be harder. Like you would have to make like a super fast play, right? This is like a confidence play. But if you know Lee Sin is bot, then obviously this is way more guaranteed. That's like kind of the thing that I am frustrated about with Rogue. Not to harp on Rogue more when they're on my screen. Is obviously if you're playing solo queue, you go for these camps every time. If you're playing a goddamn team game, you're a topside, motherfucker. Let's go. I mean, I like this, right? This is the stuff that I like that Humanoid does that makes me think Humanoid's a really strong player. Obviously, like, playing these globals is the kind of stuff that I think he's good at, like utilizing these gaps and playing into opponent's strong side. I don't know if that's enough to make me overlook the million other flaws they have, but it's nice to see that, because I didn't really see anything like that in the previous VODs when I was expecting it before, right? From watching him last year. It's the Bobber Kong hype train. Like, I spent so much time working with players trying to get them to recognize what their strong side even is, that the concept of making a play on enemy strong side that actually works and understanding like the dynamics of it is probably not something that I talk about a lot. So it's definitely a more advanced macro concept. Okay. Let us close the game, my friends. So, alright. Rogue a bit more ahead of the map. So, let's see. Use cases for plays like that, right? When you know you're technically behind tempo. Which they were, because they were already pushing out by the time Hansama was catching. So, for example, here we have a lot of stabilization, so, and there's no one answering humanoid bots, so this is a window where you play more into like what should be your strong side, but you make a stabilizing play, you just catch the wave. You have enough wave clear, you have Jace, you can stall out this play here, while Rise pushes out all the way bot. No one's showing on mid wave, so you don't even have to match, you can just stay in fog, so this is all nice. Rise getting wolves. And now someone's answering bot, so we can even get pinks on Baron. And now Rogue might start thinking about, oh, we have no blue trinkets. It's a scary time for us versus a Callista Rise comp. We have no blue trinkets. Surprised Humanoid didn't back here earlier, though. Just looking for jungle camps for gold, I guess. But he can be backing with Viego and shifting top and strong into a Baron side. Or they could contest this Drake. Not married to either. I feel like contesting the Drake is less good, but hey, it's free Drake. Either way, I think recalling earlier is better. Like, I think it's actually harder to contest the Drake with Humanoid recalling here. Did Jace push an extra wave top as well? I guess not. But with Viego recalling, he has to be a little bit scared about contesting this wave, I think, just in case he's getting cheesed. The recall got him stopwatch, but if they know that Rise had late recall, which they shouldn't, right? Because they have no reason to think that it was late recall, because they don't have vision on the side. Then this is like an angle where they can just like walk directly into Bot River. And then you're face checking into Aphelios Orianna Warren, which kind of sucks, but you do have like close to Alistair. This is one thing that I think helps Matt a lot sometimes when they have later rotations. Is that they just play close to Alistair and Alistair can walk in and get ulted out. But this here I think is okay, because it's like they have no reason to think Rise didn't recall earlier. Like, he could already be recalling here, right? After he kills this pink. But he walks all the way to bot bush just in case they're walking into jungle already. But if he thinks they're walking into bot jungle already, it's kind of scary, I think. Because then they can already be contesting this wave and controlling Dragon side. Because Ori Ornn also have TP, so if someone has to catch top wave and there's already people in place, it's pretty easy to just TP. So if you're going off of like information you expect the enemy team to have, then I think it's fine. And obviously they don't contest the mid wave like super aggressively, so they probably think Rise can already be there really fast without having to channel TP. It's time for Ornn to walk into Dragon Pit. It's the game-winning stopwatch. Not really. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about this. They get mid-wave. Rogue does mid-wave really late. Drake's about to spawn. So Mad have set up on Drake spawn. They try to chunk Ornn when he walks in, but he's Ornn, so hard to chunk. Okay, I mean that ult was bad. Was he channeling ult for... He's channeling ult for something else, maybe? I guess he was channeling ult to just protect the pinks in the bush. Seems really weird. I'd rather have Kalista ults to try to engage on backline for this fight, because I like that Humanoid can position here, right? And let's see, does he have Brass ulti? Like, he can position here. Like, if Ornn plays super far up into this, then he can get behind and fight. And then he's, like, playing short-range AoE into RG's backline. So here, especially with Ornn ult down, can think about, like, channeling TP, or channeling Ryze ult into backline. Because right now it's just hard for him to hit the way he's positioned. And no one is able to get on to Rogue's carry. So this is like a really good kind of frontline flank setup from Rogue. Odo using his ult to Clement style hedge Humanoid against the wall. There you go. This is Clement style hedging, Peter. By the way, in case you didn't know. I think Inspired also just played this pretty well. But normally in general, like, Mad's comp skills are not gonna be good for front to back. So taking this fight isn't most ideal, right? You want to take the Baron and Dragon and leave. But I think not having Kalista for this kind of sucks too. And not being able to get Ryze in the backline is like the killer. So if you did want to take this fight, that's what you need to do. Armid also, if we're breaking this down even more, like Armid can be poking instead of hitting Drake. But he's like, I don't know, in Tribrush. I'm not sure what Armid's trying to achieve here exactly. He's going for the sick Jace flank. Jace Wukong. He is Jace Wukong Nar. He is Nar is Jace is actually just Nar and Wukong in disguise. Must get the flank. I didn't only watch last two playoff series. We watched a lot of mid-game stuff. A lot of mid-season stuff. They have dog shit early game because they have no coordination whatsoever and they don't coordinate to make plays. They just play lane matchups like they're playing solo queue. That is why Rogue have dog shit early game. If you want a longer discussion of this, watch the series where we actually do watch quite a few regular season games. Yes, you didn't watch League. Sorry. I just hate that argument. Oh. I'm good. I'm fine now. I'm calm. You can always tell, like, when I've gotten less sleep than otherwise, because I'm a little bit crankier. So I apologize to everyone for my crankiness today. Aurelia is really glad, so Jace is really Rukong. Makes sense to me. I'm down. My crusade against Rogue continues, it's true. I just feel bad for the Rogue players, because I feel like there is a certain expectation based on the fact that they all just stomp lanes individually to quote-unquote, like, do better at Worlds, and I just don't think it's there, so I don't like the narrative around it, right? We will see. Because I think Rogue actually has a lot of good players. Like, we saw how Odo played lane Warren versus Jace. We didn't actually watch the lane phase, but clearly he is talented enough in the matchup to make that work. Even though first wave Armit didn't do fuck all and he was able to just hit the wave and not get harassed. He had some good engage windows, split up the team fight in the last fights, right? Stalled out dives, etc., etc. I also think Kansan was quite good, and Larson is a great player, you know? They all, and even Inspired is like pretty good mechanically, right? So, I don't know. Trimby, he's a rookie, so I'll give him some time, but don't see an insane amount of promise right now. But in general, I think the players on Rogue are talented and skilled. Anyway, back to Medlines. I think what I'm going to do, since I do think overall this like kind of the game coordination is okay. And I only have about 20 minutes left, as we will swap to the Fanatic series, the Fanatic game. Fanatic game 2. Was that it? And we'll watch from 10 minutes because apparently yeah, Mad FNC game 2. And we will watch from the 10-minute mark because that is a recommendation. So we're gonna have to do some kind of reverse engineering to figure out what happened up to this point. It's the classic four-man mad four-man bot with Ezreal, apparently. So it's Ezreal Karma, so that is okay. It is Ezreal Karma, but they are not low HP. I think we watched this for the Fanatic VOD review, but we'll watch it again. I don't know what this is, but we're listening to it. So level 1 was explosive from Fnatic. I think I remember. Oh yeah, I remember this one. I remember the level 1. Oh god. Yes. I remember this. So unfortunate. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that. If you want to see me talk about it, watch the Fnatic VOD review. Anyway, from that point, I will say from the math perspective, from this point, it's very difficult because even though this composition isn't, I would say that there are some ways to deal with the Vayne, but it's not too easy, right? Like you have some CC, the CC is not guaranteed, and your goal is mostly to put her down completely in laning phase with the Karma. So now your next option is you want GP to get really strong, so that when she face checks into GP, she can get one shot, potentially. Or you play to kill TF as Viego and gold card her. Something like that. Second pick Vayne is a bit of a recent wound for us at the EG camp, so we will not discuss the second pick Vayne. Thank you for the follow. Probably dog. Jabig 14. K-Dog. K-Dog, what a name. Apparently, top laners just like to die in top river versus non-lines. So it's increasingly hard to do anything bot lane based on what I'm seeing here. And when Ezreal's playing up like that, I feel like it's really hard to walk into bot river. But who knows? Who knows what the thought process is? Or what's happening? Thank you, Bobby Top. Alright. Apparently, Humanoid could just run him down. But this is a mistakes were made angle for sure. The fact that he's able to engage, do this much damage. This is where you say worth in all trap. So you get the TF ult, right? So you get TF ult, you know, TF no TP. So now your goal is to think about outplaying them on the map, because the one advantage that you'll have is unless they have resources mid, you can get mid prio. Ah yes, shield bow, the bane of any bow comp existence. So let's see. If Ezreal Karma can get to this wave, which Karma did, then TF will have timer here, right? Theoretically. But they'll stall out this play. And if they're able to stall this play with Karma Ezreal, because again, this is a situation where you have a lot of wave clear and potential to kind of control, or to, as I would say, stabilize. But then you can make like the classic humanoid, like fast play top, or fast play outside. And by classic humanoid fast play onside, I mean depending on where you're from, you can call it an RNG play, an FPX play. If you watch 2018 Scouting Grounds, it's a strongest play. You know, it's whatever you want. Let's see. We are all pawns controlled by shield bow. Now Bane is catching midwave and can dip into Fox. So this is another situation we talk about where it's like if you're playing a champ like Bane, you're fine with not showing on the wave, letting them catch midwave relatively high and pushing it into you. However, we're in a position where everyone is on the spot side, right? You've got TF, Tunnel. You just showed top with Silas CB. So walking on this lane for a humanoid, I think you just like ease preemptively here would be most ideal, like E over the wall or something. So now Fnatic have agency to basically rotate into top side if they want to. And we have Hillsong getting his super aggro vision. They're not too aggro because obviously only a limited number of people can be here. We know Karma's not here. We know GB's not here. So it's basically Silas. Low HP, walks in, gets a ward. Humanoid looking for the angle. Oh, this is scary. Silas could die here. Ah, running away. Any particular point they're best in at the world? Wow. That's a pretty steep ask. I would say in terms of things that they're good at, we had a brief discussion about that. In terms of like understanding when they can make fast plays on opponent's strong side, I think that Fnatic's actually not bad at that normally either. But the plays that they look for are more like controlling for vision, small picks with Hillsong. Whereas I think Humanoid has more agency on Mad to make those types of plays off of sideline rotations, so that's pretty good. Whereas I feel like Rapcon is just constantly getting, or Hillsong is just like constantly getting cheap vision and going deep into strong side to look for picks based on just like kind of, to an extent, intuition and awareness. Oh, I remember being confused by this. So this is like an ideal place for Vayne to operate. Just run at you through small trope. So I get why Peter wanted me to watch this game. I think it's just, even though the game feels like kind of doomed, Mad are behind tempo, they're still finding like small picks and plays inside, even if they're kind of high risk, right? I remember having a debate with Veteran as to whether or not this was like a game that demonstrated that Fnatic just can't close, or if I felt like there was actually a lot of agency for Mad to stall the game, which I think is more true. Because I don't think necessarily that Fnatic have a lot of reliable wave clear. They don't have good ways of sieging or controlling creeps, so they're basically looking to, and they lose sidelines. Silence versus TF, GP versus Set. So for me, it's like, yes, they're behind, but actually Mad have a lot of agency, which they used okay, right, to solve the game. So I didn't see this so much as, damn, Fnatic suck, they can't close, you know. That was sort of the point of this VOD review when we did it from the Fnatic side. Like, for example, this is the kind of thing that you need to look for. Like, this is a direct example of the play that I'm talking about, right? So Fnatic have to place a lot of resources on mid in order to get prio, because Vayne is not going to get prio by herself, and TF basically, and you're not winning sides, so like as soon as GP shows top here, this is like a good window for you to look for something, right? Which you just secured for yourself by making this top play and choking them out. By, again, overloading numbers. So pretty much wherever Fnatic go, they kind of have to overload numbers on the play they're making. In that case, right, you have a lot of resources from Matt to globally clear waves and prevent you from sieging, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You have Ezreal ult, or you have GB ults. Ezreal can basically clear whatever wave mid. So they drop this. They're technically ahead in tempo, right? Was that supposed to highlight that there was like a flank TP angle or something? Because there's definitely not a flank TP angle. I don't know why they were circling that word. I feel like that's the most irrelevant word possible. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point is that you have GP ulti, so even though, theoretically, like, most people would look at this without looking at spells or anything, just looking at random blobs on the map and look at character position and think, oh, okay, Fnatic is ahead in tempo. They're ahead in the map. but they are knowing that Armit uses ulti to clear the wave and do some damage to top two. And then they're also aware of how much time they have based on recalls to use the fact that Set's going to go to rotate more aggressively on that side. So theoretically, even here, I guess no, okay, I see what they're doing here. So I was thinking theoretically what GP could do is he could crash this wave and recall, and then they have maybe a timer to set up off of Set being here. But I think they're just gonna get the Drake, because even if they, because GP's ideal world is setting up vision on Drake and having Vayne phase track into a barrel, right? That's the ideal world from GP at this point. That's, I think, the only way to actually kill her. But I think what they want to do is they want to stall out the game a bit longer by giving this third Drake and play for top side, which is fine. And then try to play for the fourth Drake with the GP. But these are the windows that I'm looking for. The zero matchup and debate of the bot lane. Sure. It's not the greatest. It's really good for lane, but it actually has okay outplay potential in the game. Late game, I think, Azir wins again though. So let's talk about this play, and then I think I have to go. Let's talk about this play. Fanatic on bot wave, completely controlling bot side. Not in position to make this trade play on anyone who shows up, but it's set, so his ability to stall out is kind of annoying. Plus, they no longer have GP ult, right? So they're ahead on this play. They don't have Ezreal ult either. Well, they do have Ezreal, so they tried to stall out this play using Ezreal ult, first of all. Which, if the Ezreal ult did significant damage to the wave, then that would be good. But even if it does, I like this play from Niski a lot. And this is what's forcing recalls and allowing Fnatic to end the game. But they tried to make like the same kind of play, so they would just incrementally trade when they're using Ezreal and GP ulti to stall out this siege so that they can get more and more on this side of the map. Right? That was sort of their goal, but the thing that I liked, Niski's adaptation here, was using the TL ulti here and kind of just completely ignoring the wave and catching Ezreal, trying to ult from there. So it would be better off maybe if Karthie had even like ulted from base or something. Yeah, that's about it. So TLDR, I think that might have a tendency to make really weird 4-man force plays around bottom that sometimes aren't set up well, but they're okay. Mid game is really hit or miss. I would say, I would say their mid game is better than spring, but I felt like there were games where they did really good things mid-game, and then things where they just sucked. So it's really hard for me to have like a legitimate conclusion. It almost is it feels like what mood Humanoid is in as to whether or not they're making like really good plays in side lanes, right? Because I'm just thinking about that CF game, and I'm really depressed. So yeah, that's what I got. It's Pepe left. So I hate to leave us on 100 viewers, but thanks everyone for dropping by. I think let's find someone to raid. Anyone interesting? Streaming. I feel like this is a person that we raid, and I'm not going to give any explanation as to why we're raiding them. You're just gonna have to figure it out. But it's Miracu inspired. All right. See you all tomorrow for Damwon, and that'll be the last VOD review stream. So thanks everyone for following me on this journey.